Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Rule 34 podcast, Season 3. I'm Jack, joined by
Dominic Castillo.
And Kota Ubushi. Agbushi.
Alright, we are back today. I am admittedly a bit sick, and as Dom told me before, he is also admittedly a bit sick.
Yes.
How have you two been?
I have been not of the very PogChamp lately, man. Ever since I got the braces, my eating habits have been drastically reduced. I have limited myself to just eating like soups and very soft foods like bananas and pastas and such like that. And I've completely just ignored like any other like food items that have been coming at my way, like burgers and pizzas and all that stuff. It kind of sucks, because as of recently, I've also been buying a couple of fast food items for my parents as well that I myself have not been able to enjoy. One, because the braces, and two, I've also, as we just said, I've gotten sick again, so I got a stuffy nose, so I can't really enjoy the food, which, just doubles the discomfort of, just not being able to have any pleasure over any sort of food for the time being, which means that I'm going to have to go through this for like a good year or two or three or maybe even 4. But it is what it is. Work itself, we're coming to the reality that it's beginning to slow down a bit. And yesterday we had the day of the Globetrotters, or the Harlem Globetrotters, my bad, which was just like it was like an exhibition like basketball game, and it was incredibly slow. And we're gonna start to see events like these become more prominent, and then eventually, maybe, we don't know, we might transfer over to work at the Dodgers Stadium at some point. The transfer might happen during, I think, late March, early April, around there. It might happen. We don't know. No, it's not guaranteed, but I already threw in my application, and we hope to see what happens. That might be PogChamp. Apparently, Dodgers pays, I think, more and tips even better, if I recall, as per one of the stories I've heard before. Aside from that, nothing much else has been going on as of lately. Yeah. So everything's been sort of okay, but uncomfortable, Yeah.
I get you. How about you, Gio?
I don't know, the last 2 days I've been thinking a lot about money, stressing out, and I don't know, just trying to find a way to make money, because, you need money to do things. Besides that, I've been trying to take care of myself more. I'm thinking about going on a fitness journey, and I was going to ask Dom if he wanted to come along with me, because, he's been wanting to lose weight for a cool minute now.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I'll have to see what kind of fitness journey I want to go on and, actually commit to it, because, I don't know, ever since I could remember, I've been kind of insecure about my body, because I've always been, the skinny, weak guy, and then everyone will pick on me and stuff. So it's like a huge insecurity of mine. So I'm thinking about doing that. Things have been going really well with my girlfriend, my partner, which is pretty cool. And besides that, let's see, anything else worth mentioning? I could have worked yesterday, but it wasn't. Keith called me, but I told him that I couldn't go because it was my mom's birthday, and which is pretty cool. We spent the night inside. We ate some food, really good food, and then we kind of just chilled together in the living room. I sneezed. We should go away. I'm doing podcast. Go away. Anyways, it's kind of crazy how February is almost over.
Yes, it is. 8 more days.
Life goes by fast, but you don't even notice.
What is it? Is it 18 days? 18 days till that new Twice album, Gio.
W.
Big W. 2 weeks from
I don't know. Life's been good. I ordered some shoes yesterday because I realized instead of, spending $800 on FIFA, I should be spending some money on stuff that I could actually use and benefit from. So I ordered some shoes that were on sale. I really like them. I ordered some clothes as well for my fitness. And tomorrow, I'm kind of dreading it because today I have to pay $120 for my internet bill. Kind of regret upgrading, but oh well.
Damn.
That's pretty much it, bro. I've been chilling.
All right. As far as me, like I said, I got sick. I've been trying to deal with it. Since yesterday really was when I got sick. But other than that, nothing much. Just been, planning all sorts of things for the podcast. And just finishing up stuff like my FAFSA and all that. Pretty much all that's been going on with me. Nothing much of note yet. But I guess with that being said, if there's nothing more to talk about, we'll turn to our main topic of today. Getting back into our little mini series of showing wrestling to non-wrestling fans. And today I have presented 10 clips, all varying in promotion, in like age, I guess you could say, like how old some of these clips are. I'm showing them a bunch of clips, and the goal for today's episode really is just watching these clips and Dom and Gio having to determine how much they would have to be paid to take some of these bumps, as they're called or spots, as they're called in wrestling. So, let me ask you guys this real quick before we get into it. Obviously, when something crazy happens in like sports, you see a lot of of people like posting clips about it. I don't know how well versed you guys are like in wrestling. Obviously, you aren't like big fans of it, or maybe fans at all. But growing up, did you ever see any like crazy spots that happened in wrestling? Like whether it was on social media or you happened to catch it somewhere, like on YouTube?
Probably. I used to, when I was like 10, I used to watch a lot of like the WWE on TV. So I probably saw something, but I just can't recall. So probably.
What about you, Dom?
I don't ever. I do recall sometimes. My bad. Anyways, my bad. I do recall seeing like. I might be wrong, but I do recall. I think someone might have been thrown into like a pool of like, or like maybe like into like a pile of like, those light tubings.
Oh.
And then turn. You see them fall into it as hard as they can, and then it just you see all of the glass everywhere and all that stuff. On the other hand, I do also remember a lot of falls from like Hell in the Cell fights. I do remember those, but I just can't recall what specific like events per se. But for some reason, I like way back when, I just remember seeing a lot of Hell in the Cell fights because I just thought those were the most interesting fights to see.
All
That's
right. All right. So, and coincidentally enough, we start off with a Hell in a Cell fight, and I chose to start off with this one because it's real iconic. The first one we're starting off with is when the Undertaker threw Mankind off the top of the Hell in a Cell. This was, I think, like the third ever Hell in a Cell match, or maybe it was the second. So it's widely iconic simply because of the fact of it's the first time anyone was thrown from the top of a cage, and it definitely still holds up in terms of like how would you put it? I guess if you want to say like I don't know I don't know how to word it, but like when you look at it, it still looks like painful to this day, especially because you look at it, it doesn't look like there's really there is no padding at all for Mankind to even fall onto. When like the only thing that's breaking his fall is that table, and even then he quickly like goes through it and slides right off it. So when looking at a clip like that, how much would you guys have to be paid to take a spot like that? Because bunch of things to consider is also, the height of just falling off of that thing, I forget how tall Hell in a Cell is, but it's not like an easy height to fall from.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
is the option of opting out a thing? Like, can we say there's no way, like, no matter how much you pay me, I will never do this?
Yeah, that's obviously an option, because some of these spots on this list, I definitely agree with you. There's no amount of money you could pay me to take them. What about you, Dom?
I'm looking at the clip, and I feel like there has to be some sort of soft padding. Like, it has to be prepared, right? I mean, they wouldn't just let Mankind hit the floor. I'm assuming it would be some sort of cement, or I guess some sort of wooden padded floor. Rock cement. Straight, right? It has to be some sort of protected area. That would have been planned beforehand, so that we wouldn't get hurt so bad. Because I think he ends up beneath like one of the like a railing and like something else. I'm not sure what it is. I feel like it wouldn't be so bad, right?
Yeah, he crashes into like a desk or something, so that kind of like softens the blow, but not by much.
Yeah, like the announce table, is there to break his fall a bit, but like Gio's saying, there's not much to soften the blow. And what I will say, Dom, is this is back in 1998, so there is likely no padding at all. At least now, there's like a ton of padding all over the place, even in like the announce table area. So when it happens, like it's obviously not like padding like a bed, but they pad it so that you're not falling straight onto concrete. But seeing as this was back in 1998, I doubt there is really any sort of padding to break your fall there.
Also, I think this only applies to me, but what's this guy's name? Mankind. He's a big guy. Not like muscular, but he's kind of squishy, right? So like the impact is going to be different than when I'm like, if I were to do that, I'm literally all bone. So if I land on the table, the table's not breaking. I'm landing on that table, and I'm breaking everything. Like my ribs are going to be completely destroyed if I do that.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Weight is definitely a huge factor, because there have been times where the tables don't break because, someone's on the lighter side, Oh man, I didn't even think about that. But going back to you, Dom, real quick, do you have a price, or do you agree with Gio in that there's nothing you can be paid to take it?
I don't know. I feel like this could definitely be done. But I don't know. Okay, never mind. I would opt out from this one. That was like a whole 30 feet tall fall, and I wouldn't survive.
It's not like he's like prepared for it. Undertaker literally just flings him off.
Yeah.
It's not like, all right, 3, 2, 1, get ready. It's like, all right, off you go, and then he just crashes into the table. I wouldn't do that.
Definitely. Yeah, I think I'll agree with you guys on this one in that I don't think there's really much you can pay anyone to really take this spot because there's just so much that goes into it. The whole thing about like height and all that, it just totally adds up into something that's like, I don't think that's worth taking, you know. But we move on. We're continuing to stay in the 90s, and we find ourselves in ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, and we have Bubba Ray Dudley power bombing Spike Dudley through 2 flaming tables. First off, you know, what are your guys' thoughts, obviously, on the spot, and then, of course, how much would you guys have to be paid to take this spot?
I feel like 10K. I would do this for 10K. It doesn't look that bad. It's like there's fire and then you just get thrown through a table. It's pretty easy. Like, sure, you might burn. He's wearing a shirt, so it's not that bad. So, I don't know, just give me like a longer shirt, I guess, like a long sleeve shirt. I would do it for 10K.
How about you, Dom?
Looking at it, I'm pretty sure there's some sort of like artificial fire type of stuff going on because looking at the end, it looks like the fire immediately dies down. It doesn't look like it keeps on spreading, so he must have been wearing some sort of fireproof like suit and stuff like that. The fall wasn't so bad, as he had 2 tables to break the fall. But I don't know if it was a real fire, which I doubt it would have been. You know, I don't know, maybe 20,000 in case if I do something. There is a way. I forgot. Nile Red, the guy, the scientific guy, Nile Red. I forgot. Yeah, that's his YouTube channel. He explained it some sort of way to make some sort of artificial fire that doesn't burn. It does kind of, but not so much.
Interesting. I never heard of that, but that actually is interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if they knew about this back in what was it?
This is the 90s, so maybe not.
The 90s, yeah. They probably didn't know about the existence of that. But, yeah, the YouTuber now explains how to do it. It does take quite some time to do so, but if they knew about this, maybe it didn't burn at all and it just was completely fine. But obviously, you know, for the spectators, they thought it was real and, you know, it was very cool to watch. But if it was real, I would throw in 20K because, you know, skin grafting ain't cheap, man.
He's not wrong. I definitely agree with the range you guys are going with. You know, fun fact, 2 tables is actually much easier of a spot to take just because there's like more cushion. At least that's what like many wrestlers say, you know, but like when you like the more you increase the amounts, like after 2, it doesn't really soften the blow. It more so gets more dangerous because you have all these pieces that could potentially like fall in the wrong directions. But yeah, 2 tables is actually, from many wrestlers' experiences, from what I've heard, is very easy to take. I don't know about 2 flaming tables, but I think that price range is fair, anywhere between 10 to 20K. And funny enough, it's a common joke because of the fact of, or not really a joke, but like it's almost like known that like during this time, the general manager and like owner of ECW, Paul Heyman, like ECW wasn't like a main. I mean, it was. I wouldn't say it was mainstream really. You know, it obviously the 2 mainstream ones at the time were WWF and WCW, but they were sort of like a smaller promotion. So obviously they had their crowd that would show up to their shows and they made money, but they wouldn't make the most. So it's common knowledge that a lot of wrestlers genuinely didn't get paid, or at least a ton, for wrestling here. And a lot of times they would even get checks that would end up bouncing. And so like it's a joke at times to say that like Paul Heyman was paying these guys like a hot dog and a handshake to take some of these spots. So getting 10K to 20K for this spot is probably genuine. Is probably it's probably more than what a lot of these guys were making at the time. I mean, some guys were still getting paid, but that's like a common like joke and knowledge is that a lot of these guys weren't getting paid that much actually, or even sometimes paid at all. Imagine taking a spot like that and then going backstage and all you get is a good job and like $20 maybe.
That suck.
All right, the next one we move on to a finisher of again sticking in the 90s real quick. It's the finisher of the wrestler Yokozuna, and I put it in here especially by request of my dad because essentially this is a big man jumping from the second rope and sitting on your chest as he falls onto your chest. And Yokozuna, let's see, Yokozuna, how much did he weigh? He actually, kind of fluctuated in weight, but he kind of stayed around anywhere between 500 even 600 range at times. So yeah, about a 500 600 pound guy dropping down and sitting on your chest. How much would you guys have to be paid to take this spot?
I'm looking.
Like, when you look at it, like he doesn't act like there's no actual like hard impact. He like falls on his most of the thing goes on his knees, and he kind of just like dramatically sits on you. But to have 400 pounds on top of you, how much was it? Was it 400 or 500?
500 to 600 even.
500 pounds on top of your chest, especially like my size. They better cover my medical bills, bro. I don't know. Maybe like it can't be that high because it's not that bad. But still, maybe like $5K. You can't milk it that much because like they're not like, oh, I want $100K for this. Like no one's gonna give you that.
True. How about you, Dom?
As Gio mentioned, looking at it, he does definitely land a bit on his knees, so it softens the blow a lot. But being sit on in general, being the man is around 500 to 600 pounds, I don't think he's gonna crush anything. Maybe considering he might be putting some of weight going forward, like physically going forward, so as to not hurt you all the way through. And it just doesn't seem as it wouldn't hurt as so bad. Seeing how the fighter below him or the wrestler below him doesn't struggle or doesn't I guess panic and like being feeling too much pain. But it doesn't look so bad. Maybe I don't know how much does healing for a broken
rib cost?
A broken hole, broken rib cage. I don't know how much it would to treat that. But I'm considering it is America and our healthcare system is pretty bad. Maybe 10K. I don't know. Artificial ribs doesn't sound so bad.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys. I think anywhere between the 5 to 10K range is probably best, because like Gio said, it's not like the scariest or like most dangerous spot in the sense of like a lot of these other ones, but it does have a bit of danger to itself, only because I will obviously mention this. Wrestling is a very dangerous sport where even one wrong move can lead to like such a fatal accident, so wrestling has to be very precise. So if he slips at any point or if he doesn't, time his impact, to landing on the knees first, like Dom said, you very well could end up walking out with some type of like broken rib, Yeah. And if you're going to be walking out with that, might as well go with something that'll cover the cost. So about 5 to 10K seems about right. All right, moving on to our next one. We have Shane McMahon and Steve Blackman, who are battling it out at SummerSlam in 2000. And this involves Shane McMahon falling from about, I don't know, maybe like 50 feet up in the air off of a scaffolding after being hit with a kendo stick by Steve Blackman, falling all the way down about like 50 feet. How much would you guys have to be paid to take this spot?
I wouldn't do it.
How about you, Dom?
It's just for like a bad reason. Like anything that has to do with heights, I'm not doing.
Yeah, I get you. What about you, Dom?
Okay, so obviously we see the heavy padding at the fall. but then we also have to count the huge wrestler that's gonna the huge wrestler that's gonna hit you afterwards. But it sort of seems as if he sort of misses the landing. I'm not sure if this is by coincidence or he just simply got lucky in that he missed the landing. Not unless he did hit him and off camera he just simply moved out of the way. But I don't know. I feel like this could be doable. Like you're gonna be assured there's gonna be soft landing, and it's gonna be a wide spot so you don't miss and potentially hit the crowd or some sort of like metal railing. But if I would be doing this, I feel like I would probably get hit with a concussion of some sorts because that from that fall and the immediate landing that's gonna hurt and your brain's gonna rattle a bit. I don't know. Maybe 20K, 15K maybe because I mean it is a fall. It is possible. It is possible. 15,000.
All right. I'm going to drastically rise my number up. You're going to have to pay me like at least $1 million to take this spot. Because like Dom said, there's a huge padding, obviously, to soften the blow. But like Gio said, that height, obviously it's just sort of like a free fall onto your back. But the whole anxiety of it all and hoping everything goes well is enough that I would be like, give me $1 million flat, like it's just too scary of a spot to be up that high. Oh man. All right. Oh, what were you gonna say, Joe?
They're professionals. They've trained their body to take hits. If Dominic just shows up on a Tuesday and fall off 50 feet, his body's gonna collapse into itself.
Oh man. Yeah, that's another thing, like, taking into consideration is just how much training has to go into, like, preparing to take a spot like this. Like, I doubt they even maybe rehearse this, because I doubt someone's just going to continually drop 50 feet over and over just to prep for it. But if they did, oh man, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Shane McMahon. That man's done some crazy spots over the years.
You probably, build up to, start at 10, 15, 20, and then eventually get up to 50.
Yeah, that's probably, that makes sense. Speaking of needing precision, we move on to our next spot, and that's the reason why I included it here. It's not really that bad of a spot to take, but the absolute precision that needs to go into performing it. We're taking it to TNA in the 2000s, where Eli Skipper walks the cage and performs a Hurricane Rana. How much would you guys have to be paid to perform this spot? And with this, we'll say you have the proper training to do a spot like this, to walk the cage line.
Not gonna lie, I think I could do this one. I might mess it up, but I think I could do it. So maybe 15K. I don't know. It seems like a lot. I could probably do it.
What about you, Dom?
Wait, we're gonna be the one walking the cage, or we're gonna be the one getting thrown down?
No, you're gonna be the one walking the cage in this one.
Oh, to do the walking. Ooh. I mean, just I guess cover your own balance. Honestly, I think you could do this one for free, just as long as you don't mess up. But if stakes are high and everything counts on you doing this one walk without falling over, maybe just 5,000, just as long as you land the walk and you throw that hit. And, this one seems not so bad. And it's not that much of a far walk either way, so a low number for me.
All right, I'm going to agree with Gio's range. I'm going to say maybe 20K, just because a lot of precision has to go in, a lot of training. But, it's like Dom's saying, it's a simple spot that, but at the same time, there is some risk, because you guys see, obviously, Eli Skipper almost doesn't even make it all the way. He starts losing his balance right before he gets to the guy and barely gets his legs around his neck to perform the move. But still crazy nonetheless.
There should be a 5K bonus if we do it better than this guy.
Throw that in as a challenge. Our next one. We're throwing it to AEW last year, where Darby Allin is facing off against Jeff Hardy. And Darby Allin dives off of a 15-foot ladder probably onto Jeff Hardy at ringside, onto a bunch of steel chairs that are arranged. How much would you guys have to be paid to take this spot?
Jeez.
$1 million, or I'm not doing it. Because imagine like you land wrong and like your spine is completely destroyed, you're paralyzed. No. Oh, you give me $1 million, and like offer $1 million, and I'll consider it. Anything less than that, no way.
What about you, Don?
I'll do Gio the double, $2 million, dude. I'm surprised he landed that so well that if it was in any other position, his neck would have been gone, or his spine would have been gone, or just I feel like he could have cracked his pelvic area, the pelvic bone, because that fall from that height and falling on top of another wrestler, along with the chairs, in which we know the chairs obviously modified, but still from that fall, anything, no matter what, it's still going to be very, very hard to land on. I'm surprised he got very lucky. I know this was trained and all, and before, but from that one shot, he got very lucky. And we see at the end that the fighters aren't. I'm not sure if they're okay, because we see the ref is trying to hold their hand to so they. I'm assuming this is some sort of like code way to make sure that they're either conscious or not conscious. Which is a little scary. That I think once he holds, what's his name? My bad. Once he holds Darby's hand, he's not gripping it back, which means he might not be there in terms of consciousness. So that means it's gonna, I feel like that hurt way too much. But yeah, high monies, man, high monies.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. This is a crazy spot. And honestly, in either position, whether I'm Jeff Hardy and having to catch the guy or Darby Allin having to perform the dive, you got to pay me upwards in the millions to take this spot. Darby Allin is such a crazy dude. He's taken some of the craziest spots that people generally worried what he'll look like when he's older. They're worried about just how mobile he'll be, because he's taken a lot of spots where you really are concerned for his health, such as spots like this. But he does it in a sense for the love of the game, and I have no doubt that he's getting paid good money to perform a spot like this. But to some people, no amount of money in the world may be worth it to take some of these spots. And speaking of no amount of money could be worth taking spots, we turn it back to TNA in 2008, where we see Sting and Samoa Joe are fighting it off in the crowd. And from the crowd, from like a suite area, Samoa Joe runs and drop kicks Sting onto concrete steps, no padding, and to make it all worse, he goes and lands right in the middle of a railing, hitting his groin on that metal pole, along with landing back and probably neck and head first onto concrete steps. I'm letting y'all know right now, there is no amount of money in the world that you would have to pay me to be in Samoa Joe's place here. Obviously, it was one of their biggest shows, so Samoa Joe was trying to give the fans a crazy moment, and obviously put his name out there and all that, because TNA was a smaller promotion. But even then, I don't know how much I could be paid to take a spot like that. Like, I don't think there's any amount I could be given.
I don't know. Give me like $10K and I'll try to replicate it. And by try, I mean I'm just gonna do half-ass it and then get my money. But to like actually like you're like put like I don't know into a simulation where you have to do every single step that he did and land legs first between the pole on concrete steps, dude. I don't know. Like, I don't know if you guys ever fallen on stairs, like down the stairs, and your back just kind of like hits the stairs.
Yeah,
dude, it's next level pain. So I'd give it a go just for fun. Like, give me $10K and I'll try to replicate it, like on one of those like maybe there's like a the WWE
simulator.
No, like one of those like Japanese shows.
Oh,
kind of like, yeah, like recreating iconic moments from wrestling history, and then you have to like do it, or else you're like eliminated, I would do it because I don't know. It seems kind of cool. He's like, but to like actually do it, hell no.
All right. How about you, Dom?
Oh shit, my bad. My bad. Looking at it, he definitely hit his bottom area very hard. The groin part is what concerns me the most because he did hit that area, right? Just silver clear. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Okay. I'm surprised that he was able to hold that just anger, that frustration in his emotion. You can still see it, but it's like heavily like covered by his willpower just to not scream out in pain. So I respect the dedication for Samoa Joe. That's why he's the best. Anyways, I don't know, 50,000 maybe for this one because this one just
would
looks
be worse. If he hit one and not both, so like all the force went onto one of them instead of both of them, that would be 10 times worse.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, Samoa Joe is crazy for taking a spot like this. Just absolutely nuts. I can't believe he did a spot like that. All right, we have about 8 minutes and 30 remaining, so I'm going to skip one of these just because I really want to get to the last two that I put here and kind of explain them properly to you guys. So the next one, coming back, Shane McMahon versus Kurt Angle at King of the Ring. So in this spot, you see Kurt Angle trying to suplex Shane McMahon through the glass. And you see with the first one, the glass doesn't break and Shane lands like right on his neck. Shane actually ends up getting a concussion from this because I can't remember the full story. If I'm pretty sure they were supposed to get sugar glass, which breaks easily. And that's what both men were told. The people who set it up did not use sugar glass. And because they didn't want the moment to go by, Shane told Kurt, just do it again. Do it until it breaks. And that's when he does it the second time and it breaks. And then it's not shown in this clip. He tries to do it again and the thing doesn't break. So like when they're on the other side, he's trying to throw him out. So Kurt just grabs him, gets him up, and instead of trying to suplex him, he just throws him through the glass to break it because at that point they had kind of gotten annoyed with the fact that the glass wasn't breaking, and it was, I think, on the designers who designed and set up the stage. Like it was supposed to be sugar glass, and they got the wrong type of glass. So I think for this one, I think it's like in the millions, especially knowing you're gonna get a concussion from this because the faults of whoever set up the stage. I think it definitely needs to be in the millions.
If it's sugar glass, I'd do it.
Yeah.
For like pretty low, maybe like 2K, just for the experience.
Yeah.
If it's like actual glass, I would still do it, because why not? For like maybe 50K.
How about you, Don?
No, 100K. Because with my weight, that glass is never breaking. I'm gonna end up a vegetable. A million. No, 2 million. Yeah. 2 million.
How about you, Dom?
Well, I mean, it would have to be fake, right? They wouldn't use real, right? Why would they?
I don't think it's like fully real glass, but they used a different type of glass that they weren't supposed to use. Because in wrestling, they always, for the most part, use sugar glass because it breaks easily. It has that like cool effect of all this glass shattering everywhere, and like all over, and it's somewhat like safer in a sense, than actual huge shards of glass. Like you remember that one match I showed you, Dom, where the guy gets dropped off the top rope through like a glass pane and it just immediately shatters,
Right.
So like that's what it was supposed to be like, where this thing was supposed to shatter completely like that. But as you see, when he throws him through, it's somewhat shattered, but you see these huge chunks of glass, So it's like they didn't get the right type of glass for it. So it's not like full on like real glass because it would have obviously maybe taken more. But it wasn't the planned glass that they wanted to use,
Yeah. Seeing it again, but like in a very more, very concerned standard, in that even if it was the fake glass, I feel like there will be tiny, like millions of like little shards, like kind of like fiberglass, where like it could like, tiny little like pieces of glass could enter your skin and stuff like that, and like you wouldn't notice it, but there's like little millions of little pieces inside you that you wouldn't notice from the outside. So that's what I'm a little concerned about. Despite just the glass being able to break that easily. But what also concerns is that first hit obviously didn't make it break until the second one. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe $20K for this one doesn't seem so bad. I hope it doesn't seem so bad.
All right. Well, about 4 minutes left. Our final spot. Throwing it over to New Japan, where Naito and Kota Ibushi are facing off. They're on the ring apron. And one thing to note, this man Kota Ibushi is one of those wrestlers who genuinely just will take some of the worst neck bumps you've ever seen for no reason at all. He just is always trying to throw in a neck bump, trying to like put his neck to the limits. And this is truly one of them, where Naito suplexes him on the apron. And I almost want to say, in a sense, it kind of goes wrong because they start falling like off. Like it looks like maybe it was supposed to be a suplex to the outside, but Kota Ibushi hits his head and neck right on the very edge of that ring apron before falling to the ground. And it is arguably one of the worst spots I've ever seen. Like it gives me chills every time watching it. That just seeing the way his head kind of just hits that. I personally think there's no price in the world I could be given to take a spot like this.
He got lucky. This guy got lucky. Like, he should be like very thankful that he didn't end up a vegetable. But the same, there's no money in the world that would make me do this. Like, this was an accident. It's not like it was intended. There's no way I'm gonna put myself through an accident and then end up a vegetable for money. There's no way.
How about you, Dom?
Yeah, same. I would never do this. I would opt out immediately, seeing because at the end, once he lands down, he's sort of like, you can see, I forget what it's called. I think it's called a fencing reaction or something. A fencing reaction, where you can see his body doesn't completely limp over, but you can see his muscles tense up a bit, which is the reason why he doesn't immediately flop down. Just wide apart. You can see him sort of like stay still for a second, which means he hit some nerve, some sort of nerve that was hit. Well, obviously we could see that because his whole neck didn't fall, with the rest of his body. Compare that with the force of the wrestler hitting him down. It was no, I would not do this ever.
I definitely agree, and I would let the audience know this will probably be something that we bring back multiple times because there's just multiple spots that can be shown. And with that being said, I've been Jack, joined by
Dominic Castillo
and Giovanni.
And with that, thank y'all for joining for this episode. We'll catch y'all next time. And as always, remember, if it exists, we have an opinion on it. Thank y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.